Hello everyone, my name is Roya and I feel really bad that I only read 4 books in the month of June. And the reason that I feel bad about this, because, I know that I usually read at least 8, but there's really nothing wrong with only reading 4 if you're busy or something. But I haven't been that busy and I haven't really been reading any less than I normally do. I mean, I've been reading maybe a little bit less because my band has been really busy, like practicing a buttload for the recording that we're doing this week and next week. But I've still been making almost the same amount of time to read, so I feel really weird that I've read maybe like half or less than half of the number of books I normally do. Does that ever happen to you guys? Can you just not figure out why you didn't read that much when you really spent the same amount of time reading? I'm not really sure. But anyway, I read 3 books and 1 graphic novel. So first I'm going to talk about the graphic novel. I read Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, and this was amazing. This is seriously, like, just awesome. So basically it is about 2 planets, one of which the people have wings and the other of which the people have horns. And our story starts off with 2 of them having already met and fallen in love, and they're having a baby. And while there's a bunch of people after them and all this stuff, and basically the baby gets born and it has both a horn and wings, and they go on this crazy, highly life-threatening adventure. And there is just so many amazing, really complex, awesome things about this whole world, and I was so fascinated and all of this stuff. So I really, really like this, and I'm totally going to continue reading the series because holy crap. Next, I read Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb, which I already took back to the library, but that I read for the Hobbalong Read-Along, hosted by Sam from Sam's Nonsense. And basically, I was also going to read the following book, Assassin's Quest. Yeah. The one I read was Royal Assassin. The one that I intended to also read was Assassin's Quest. And I did not get to that one, unfortunately, because I don't know why. I just couldn't finish that many books this month. I don't know what's wrong with me. Basically, though, Royal Assassin was really awesome. I think it was even better than Assassin's Apprentice. It pretty much continues straight from where that one left off. So the series is awesome. Obviously, I can't talk that much about Royal Assassin just because it is a sequel. Next, I read His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik, and I really had a fun time reading this because it kind of keeps the tone of your typical British Navy story, but it adds dragons, which is really awesome. So basically, this book follows the story of a captain on a ship who captures a French ship and takes the dragon egg that they have on board. So they're like, hey, we just captured this awesome dragon egg. What are we gonna do with it? But it hatches while they're on board. And basically, you have to get a dragon to like someone enough to like stick around and put a harness on them and whatnot, or else the dragon will fly off. So the captain decides to do that himself. He like claims the dragon, puts a harness on it, etc., etc., because the dragon like seems like it's not gonna like anyone else who's there. So then the captain ends up having to give up his ship and go off and be a dragon pilot or whatever. I think they call them aviators. Yes, he has to go off and become an aviator and join the war effort that way. And try to defeat Napoleon Bonaparte and all of that. So it was a really, really interesting story. The only problem I really had with it was that there's a good 100 pages in here where there isn't a lot of action, and it's kind of just, yay, we're doing flight training now, and kind of just explaining how to put a harness on a dragon and how to, like, give dragons baths and whatnot. And I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. And there's just very little conflict for about 100 pages or so. But aside from that, so that was enough to like decrease my rating of this book a little bit. But besides that, this was a really good story. I also really like how they incorporated a lot of women in this. Without it being like completely untrue to the time period. which is really great. Like, they basically, because there's a species of dragon that only lets girls ride them, so basically a bunch of girls have to be trained as aviators and whatnot. So it was like a good way of adding like a bunch of really badass chicks to the story without it just being like, this isn't what a British Navy story is like. That makes no sense. And the last book that I read this month was Drums of Autumn by Diana Gabaldon, and I really did not like this book as much as I liked the previous 3 installments of the series, mostly because I felt like the first half of this book was mostly filler, and also I just didn't find the 1700s United States as interesting as 1700s Scotland, because we just don't get as much stuff about 1700s Scotland, but I've read tons of stuff about 1700s United States. So I was kind of like, okay, I'm a little bit bored now. But then once it got really into the setting and explained a lot more stuff, it actually was almost as interesting as all the Scotland stuff from earlier in the series. So I definitely still liked this book, but I really felt like the first half was like mostly filler, and really like this book is like 1,000 pages, and I think it could have been more like 700 or 800 pages, if not even less, because there was just a lot of filler, especially during the first half. But the second half of the story really did pick up a lot, so it was a lot better from there. So those are the books that I read during June. If you've read any of them, let me know what your thoughts are down below, because I would love to talk about them with y'all. So I will see you soon with a new video. Bye!